Hello everyone. I I discussed uh, magic of mathematics yesterday, and the I hope I made myself clear. Nevertheless, I wanted to discuss it the same topic from a different perspective. Yesterday, I was talking about from the proof, logic, reasoning, uh, rigorous logic reasoning, uh, logic perspective, showing you that as long as your reasoning, your logic is rigorous, you get no new information, and you start off knowing that much, and you ended up only gonna be knowing less than you begin with. Uh, so that in that sense, math doesn't give you anything. Therefore, math doesn't take anything away from you except your admiration. So in that sense, math is the most honest language that doesn't lie to you, at least, although it doesn't give you anything. And of course, no one gave you anything. It's an illusion. You're gaining something, and whatever you gain, you paid price already. Sometimes you just don't know what you have paid or your loss. You only saw your gain. Anyhow, today I'm gonna talk about math, the magic of the math from the computation point of view. When, of course, vast majority of us, I mean, probably all of us, start learning or study math from a computation, and then the computation part of the math is called algebra, and the other side of math is called analysis, and geometry is more or less belong to analysis because you use coordinate system, because you use real numbers, and then when you use real numbers, you basically you use the infinity. When you use infinity, the major, or say the qualitative difference arise when you take a limit. No matter how close you are to the limit, that's not the issue. The issue is whether the limit exists or whether the limit is unique. There could be two limits or infinite limits. It's way more interesting than Schrodinger's cat. That's only life and death. That's only two possibilities. Whenever there are possible more than one possible limit, then you're gonna have infinite limits. So, in order to guarantee there's only one limit, you need a proof by contradiction. So the difference between algebra and analysis is that algebra doesn't use proof by contradiction. Algebra only proof directly or by construction or by a step by step. And algebra that doesn't use infinite. Even if there are infinity, the algebra don't do infinite logical reasoning, infinite steps of logical reasoning, because once you start doing that, you're gonna end up inevitably have to deal with a limit. Have, convergence. It might diverge, right? So the difference between algebra and analysis in terms of thinking: analysis use proof by contradiction. Algebra doesn't. Analysis side use infinity. Algebra side only use finite steps. Does not use infinity. Analysis side is continuous, and algebra side is discrete. So that's basically the difference. And okay, another thing. Algebra side, from the logical point of view, algebra side only use equality or equation. Algebra doesn't use the inequality, because algebra deal with all kinds of things. So some of the things, or most of the things, you can't compare bigger or small. So that in algebra there's only equality, equation, and therefore algebra only uses necessary and sufficient reasoning. When you do that, your game, it's always just as it is. Nothing more and nothing less. Only expressed in a different form. And that's algebra. Analysis, because it's introduced a proof by contradiction, and then the world or the game become continuous, and you're allowed to a new game of calculating limits, and then derivatives and differential equations and so on and so forth. And your universe is limited in the real numbers, because other stuff, there's a difficulty for them to have a limit. so the because you want to calculate the distance, and so that so you limit yourself in a universe of real numbers, and then you allow yourself something extra. That's inequality. So inequality is kind of like a sufficient logic step. Equality is necessary and sufficient logic step. And either side, algebra and analysis, do not give you anything new. It only tells you what you already knew. However, by adding proof by contradiction, the analysis got something more than the algebra. So lastly, I'll repeat my assertion, or my law. The atoms aren't identical, even if they are the same elements. The same atoms aren't identical, even they are isotopics. Same isotopic, they are not identical. Furthermore, I would even say neutrons aren't identical. Protons aren't identical. proof by contradiction. Look at radioactive materials. Look at radioactive atoms. They have half-life. They do not decay at the same time. So they are different. If they were, say, proof by contradiction, if they were the same, then you should have the whole life, complete life. Boom! Decay at the same time. Since they are not, they decay at a different time. So they are not the same. Once the radioactive atoms aren't identical, I will conclude all atoms with same number of protons, same number of neutrons, same number of electrons, they aren't identical. Because their parts are just neutron and a proton, I will further conclude that neutron and protons are not identical. They are only identical in terms of electrical property. Of course, electrons are too small. I'm gonna leave myself some room. So I'm not gonna say anything about electron. I think electrons, chances are they could be identical. Or if you want to see the difference between two electrons, then you have to go much, much deeper. And who knows whether a human being can exist that long. Alrighty. That's all for today. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.